I'm in the studio with Jay Haleen.
And I'm in the studio with Jay Haleen.
I am in the studio with Jay Haleen.
I am in the studio with Jay Haleen.
I'm in the studio with Jay Haleen.
You are now in the studio with Jay Haleen.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay Halim, and yes, we are back for part 2 with my player partner Tamika L. Sims. Please say the L. What up, Tamika?
Guess what? Somebody was like, "Oh, I saw part 1. You're gonna have to give me the story of the L." I'm good.
Hey, man, please say the L. So she requires that, not just in an interview, but period.
Yeah.
So yeah, we on part 2. Part 2's been great. Part 1's been great. Everybody's been responding
Definitely
well to it.
Yep.
So how you feel about it?
I feel great about it. I'm thankful for the opportunity. It's been so crazy. People texted me. They're like, "Man, I really enjoyed that interview with you and Jay." I'm like, "Sweet." I ain't tell them about part 2. We gonna sneak that in on. But I appreciate all the love that's been shown. So I'm just looking forward to this conversation.
Listen, we just walking the dog. We picking up that on a journey. I mean, because for the people who don't have the book already, she went chronological order, and she was going down there. So I'm kind of giving you a glimpse in this conversation. And also for y'all that don't know, we're celebrating 1 year next week of the arrival of Ink Pen Diva, The Truth Behind My Pen.
Thank you. Show the people the book.
So yeah, when we left off, we were talking about you closing out 2018, coming into 2019, and you and I linking up for the first time to have what she calls my best interview ever, right? So she probably going to trump that with this one. But I had an interview with her because I've been doing this for a while now, and we have an interview, we meet, and she says it was her best. That was my best interview. So now she studied me. She looked at everything before she went on the platform. What made you say it was the best interview?
It was our conversation. Side note, it was the best interview. But it was our conversation, Jay. It was our ability to connect. Both of you and I, of course, were doing music at the time. And so that was just, in addition to talking about business and books, we also had that connection where we were able to talk about music industry and music management, right? Having both managed artists. And so, that conversation was amazing, but, it spawned into something even more amazing. So, but yeah, I'm always going to say that was your best interview. Now, Ink Pen Diva, I don't know, she creeping up in the close second, but it's not going to replace that very first time that we had a chance to connect in person.
Yeah, that was cool. We talked about a little bit in the part 1 about how we connected we're supposed to be talking about doing a book, but then I'm like, no, I think that you need to run with me. And then we talked about you saying that, you didn't think I was as busy as I was.
Gosh.
But once we kind of locked in that summer, that summer, because that was the beginning. That was January for chronological order. But and I had a real busy top of the year. But that summer, I think I came back from California, and we really needed to lock in on finishing I Won't Starve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you were dealing.
Yeah.
In that time frame, you were dealing. And so, what was your mindset like? Because I feel like we were behind the 8 ball. Because now we had a time. Because we didn't really have a date.
Right.
Before I left to go to California, but
Right.
we had a date of November. We was working on I Won't Starve. The Experience was coming back up again in October, but you were dealing with some things in life. And one of the things I would bring up that I remember was that you were dealing with a social media crisis.
Yeah.
So what was going on with that? With this tight deadline,
Yeah.
and or creeping up on us, and then all that other stuff happening in your personal life.
Yeah, it just seems as though whenever anything great is happening for me, there's so much other stuff happening behind the scenes. But if you were connecting me during that time on social media, I actually found myself the victim of a social media stalker. I didn't know who it was, still don't know who it was. Just all of a sudden one day, this fake, there are fake pages popping up all the time nowadays. But then, somebody like me who was already speaking, who had done their women's empowerment workshop, people know me in the book writing space, like never anything sinister going on. And then all of a sudden, whomever this person was created this fake profile on me. And then from there started contacting individuals that I was closely connected to. You were one of those people, reaching out, sending messages, using my pictures that I had posted, saying really negative things about me. So I was really struggling with that. I was scared. I remember calling the police and actually seeing if there was something that could be done, like from a cyber crimes perspective, but of course, having no physical proof, there wasn't anything that I could do. And then I was also preparing for a workshop. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was preparing for a Get Right and Get Published at the time in 2019, and I sold out workshop. And so, I was doing my thing. So it was a struggle because we did still have this amazing project that we were working on in the process of producing. Now we did have a deadline at that point. So I needed to be focused, but it was hard for me to be focused, especially around the time that you came back, because I was still very actively dealing with that situation. So.
Yeah, and so, it's people dealing with stuff, regular life stuff while, they're running the business, and people forget that. A guy I follow in my investment space just yesterday found out that he had some tornadoes in his house, that hit his home and hit his neighborhood. And he still found the time to come on YouTube and talk about that. Right. I'm like, people do not know, and they don't care. A lot of times they're just like, give me what I'm coming up here to get. Yeah. People going, what I'm saying? I'm coming I'm following you. I want you to give me that. Like, people are actually living real lives, man. So, grateful for you and, for everybody around you that didn't, turn into something crazy. But I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, because I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. I was like, yo, and you were terrified. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, yo, there's somebody somebody like, I don't know who it is. And it went on for a good while. Yeah. But you had an amazing workshop. Yeah. That was my first time getting a chance to see you in action.
Oh, yeah.
So that was cool, and I'm like, oh, she actually knows what she's talking about. Not that she wasn't working with me anyway.
Y'all, he was still doubting me, okay?
But no, I just watched how the people, gravitated to you at that point. And I kept still trying to, get out of the book at one point. Like, hey, we can do this other thing. You can come work with me. It was a push.
I've never seen somebody try to give up on the project like that. And I was like, no.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah. But the turning point in my book, chapter 3, the Odyssey, I think that once we got through that, we kept going. We knew we wasn't going to stop. What was that like when you started learning about me? Because again, and I'm not talking about me. This interview is not about me. Yeah. She's writing my book. Yeah. Now if you don't know, if you're just coming up, she wrote my first book. Is in the book. It says in the first page, as told to Tamika L. Sims, and I wrote the next 3. But like, you learned a lot about me, and it was an emotional time for me in the book. But I didn't expect you to get as emotional as you got.
I was blown away when we were recapping his story, and I was, we were in it, and we were in some of those parts. Like, chapter 3 of his book is called The Odyssey, and baby, it was an odyssey. That was the longest chapter that we had in I Won't Starve. That was the most in-depth chapter that we had, because man, we were really covering some stuff. And so he's recounting the details of his life at that time, but I couldn't get past the man that was in front of me. And I'm like, how is it that you yielded, I think was the word that I used. How did you yield? Well, like, what happened here? And he was, so he went on to give an explanation. But I was just like, wow. You know how you have those moments and you're working on something, and the layers start peeling back, and you're like, wow, what? This was who you were? And it was just incredible. So I got so emotional. I got caught up. As much as I was crying for Ink Pen Diva, I know I shed tears when we were working on I Won't Starve, because it's such a powerful story. And to get to see you today and meeting you so many years later after all of that had happened, it just really tugged on my heart. And so again, I'm just so grateful to be the chosen one. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of, to be etched in your history of forever of telling your story. So
she ain't going away, y'all. But then, I was joking. I wasn't really joking. I was dead serious. But then after that, not after the book, but during that time, that same time frame, you actually said yes to me. You actually agreed. I think it was more Emerald than me. You know, I don't think you signed on for me, but you actually said, all right, I'm jumping on that J. Halim team.
Yep.
What made you say yes finally? Because I was asking since like January. Now we like August at this point.
I think it was just an opportunity to see you every day in action. So in the beginning, I was questioning. I'm like, he really that busy? Like, you don't have time for 4 weeks? Like, come on, who does that? But just actually getting an opportunity to get a behind the scenes look at your operations, to see all the wonderful things that you already had going for yourself before I even came into your life, and seeing where I fit in that, right? Seeing where my gifts and skills, talents and abilities could come into, and then help to take, J. Halim LLC to the next level. And so, yes, it was definitely her. She was like, yeah, I think you should be on the team. And it was her, who was like, yeah, she's the one to help you write the book. So shout out to you, Em. We really, we love you. So yeah. Thanks for thinking of your girl,
Look, she knew she wasn't going to be able to run with me like you, right? Like, look, she was over that. So it's just like, you need a running partner.
Yeah.
And damn it, we ran. We haven't stopped running ever since.
No.
I think that for me, I saw the value in it, having somebody to run with me. But I think that once I Won't Starve experience happened, then the release of the book, and then everything that happened after that, I think that's when it started to really pay dividends. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the foresight. But that felt like a roller coaster to me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That October, November, December for you, what was that like? Because you already have your own situation going on, but now you're totally swamped.
Let me tell you something. When I say we hit the ground running, when we were in Charleston, we were in Charlotte, we were in different states, we were in Miami, like we were traveling, getting the message of I Won't Starve out on the road. And we were, what did I say? #booked and busy. We were #booked and busy. And it was definitely a roller coaster for me. I had never seen anything like that. Even having my own books and my own experiences, the way that it's like your audience was waiting on you, Jay. They were waiting on you to tell this story. They were waiting on you because they were so surprised at some of the details and some of the stories that, was happening. Because, we're living our lives with people. Yeah. We're around people all the time. Our friends, our family, our loved ones. And they're like, huh? You know what I mean? So it was a roller coaster ride of emotion. It was a roller coaster ride of opportunity. It was a roller coaster ride of us getting out and meeting new people in every city that we were a part of. And just no matter if you were talking to, students, or you were in bookstores, or we were doing book signings, the message was so well received. Everybody left out of there with I Won't Starve on the brain. So it was, it was truly an incredible experience.
One of the things that that happened with that was that you had a ton of people to start reaching out to you about ghostwriting, which I can't even call it. Can we call it ghostwriting? Because I never tried to hide it. And you were shocked about that, but
yeah,
I'm like, no, this is you did it. Like, I don't care who knows about that. I'm not going to act like I'm something I'm not. Like, everybody started hollering at you at this point about ghostwriting. Everybody wants you to ghostwrite their book.
Yes.
What was that like, and why did you choose, outside of me aggravating you, why did you choose to not go into that and just, stay where you were?
That literally writing I Won't Starve opened so many doors for me. Like, it changed myself as a writer, like how I approach storytelling. From I Won't Starve was completely different, and it's changed my whole outlook of my business. And so I'm grateful to you for that, for even, helping me to dig a little bit deeper into myself with my storytelling ability. And so, but everybody, once I Won't Starve was out and people were looking at the success, they're like, wait a minute, hold up. I got a story to tell Tamika. I need a little help over here. And I'm like, oh, thank you, but no. So it felt good because that wasn't something that I thought I could ever do. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. But again, you gave me an opportunity. And so I'm so grateful for that. And sorry for everybody else, because they still be reaching out about that. And I'd be like, thank you, but no.
I wore, look, 9 months straight like a baby.
Yes.
That thing,
yes.
I was wild. I remember the publishing process. I was asleep. I fell out and I didn't know what was going on, because I'm like, look, this is it. I gave everything I had.
You did.
And I wasn't even writing. But it's just the story and reliving so many things, and that's some of the stuff I left out. But y'all be on the lookout. Some of that stuff is coming. But so much stuff I left out. But I could just see everybody. We needed a break.
Yeah.
Everybody needed a break after that time. So I'm glad we were able to travel and do everything like that. We talked about went to Miami for the first time.
We did. We went to Miami for the first time. Yeah. Or I did my first time. Yeah.
It was your first time going to Miami, and it was February, which was beautiful. Best time to go to Miami, wintertime. I'm telling you, the old people in New York had it right. They, when it got cold in New York, they ran to Florida. Yes. Best time. And then, it was a combined trip, book stuff, and me being a photographer, we did the Super Bowl situation.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
That was a moment for life for me. Y'all know that song by Nicki Minaj, Moment for Life? Like, that's how I felt. I'm like, first of all, I'm in a beautiful city that I'd never been for. Y'all, I'm a Southern girl, okay? Y'all know that by now. So I'm in a beautiful city that I'd never been to, a few hours away from where I was born, and we're having this great experience. And oh my God, I don't even know if I have the words for it, but it was incredible. Like February, the skies were blue. It's 80 something degrees. Everybody's talking about it. Like we were really living like life, and to have the experience of, being down there for the books, but also having an opportunity to, shoot the teams. The 49ers were playing the Chiefs, and, we were able to be in those rooms and see those players and get the keys to the city. Every door was open to us during that time. And so it was truly a moment for life for me. And it was a great experience. I will always remember that.
All I remember is just smiling so hard because it was like a pinnacle moment for me. Being a photographer, being able to have an opportunity to shoot at the Super Bowl and being around my team, actually.
Yeah.
I'm a 49er fan, but we come from something amazing like that and come back home to COVID.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just weeks later. But we're something happened with you and I at that time.
Yeah.
We were worried. We were focusing on a major project called the Perfect Partnership. And we was about to fall out. I could say we did fall out.
Yeah, we fell out. We fell out.
We had a little business tiff. It was a big business tiff, a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at that time, walk everybody through that situation, you know what I'm saying, and to the best of your recollection.
So, and I put this in the book we were working on coming off of a trip to Atlanta. And it was a great trip. We had a good experience there. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the trip was good. Like we did a signing for Jay, and he had an opportunity to be in a different space, which was great. Got some friends and got to meet some new people. So coming off of that, we're planning the Perfect Partnership Symposium, and there was talk about COVID, talk about a shutdown. But, my background is in healthcare. If you guys don't know, I used to work for the second largest hospital system in South Carolina. We had dealt with Ebola and everything else that had come up. I knew about PPE even before people knew about PPE. So we had to plan all those policies and procedures. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is another virus like that. It's okay. It's not going to be nothing. It's nothing big. It's not nothing's bigger than Ebola. I'm like, there was a swine flu. There was a bird flu, right? I'm dealing with all of these things from a healthcare perspective. So I'm like, I knew it's okay. But it wasn't okay. And I was so dismissive, and I was so just not really taking the seriousness of what was going on and how it would impact what we were working on at the time with the symposium. And I almost cost you a very vital business relationship. And so because of those reasons. And so, and when I talk about it in the book, I'm very candid that, we were, on the outs at that point. That was one of the things that led to that. And so it was tough. It was tough because we were still facing the shutdown, and, really Jay had come along and had been the greatest part, portion of my life, and it helped me. And, we were doing so great with I Won't Starve. And then, because of me getting in my own way, there I found myself. So it was hard. It's really hard.
And on both sides, because, we've been working together for a little bit more than a year at this point. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited you know, and but I'm being cautious. And I've been in this situation, not no COVID situation, but just in business scenarios. And, you know, people are throwing lots of money around, you know what I mean? And it's an integrity thing. So, you know, we were trying to be cautious about whether or not we were moving forward. And we had a lot of money on the table, a lot of people cutting checks. And, you know, it was just a thing where she didn't want the good times to stop rolling.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? You're not gonna not do this event. You got to do it. What are you talking about? This is that. And I'm like, no, we might not be able to do this event. And so it just went kind of crazy. And, you know, I got some bad flack from one of my business partners. And it was a lot going on. But I got to shout out my wife. She saw a bigger picture for both of us because she was stubborn.
Yeah.
We both Geminis. And I think we both,
Good
twins
Lord.
came in
Yes.
and was like, look.
And we like,
I ain't dealing with her. I ain't forget it. He ain't dealing with me. And she like, yo, y'all better get it together because this needs to be what it needs to be.
Yep, she sure did.
And we still was being stubborn and, you know, a little bit. But then the week later, the shutdown happened. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, we're like, all right, yeah, we got out. You know, as my grandmother used to say, you know, y'all got your ass on y'all shoulders, but y'all better figure something out because here she is by herself, you know, in her apartment by herself, and we over here and we're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go ahead and get her. And when we came to get you, you know, what was going through your mind at that situation? I mean, because none of us knew what to do at that situation.
And I mean, it's literally like we were in the boxing ring, me and you. I'm over here on my side, you on your side, and no matter how they tried, we was not meeting in the middle. But then the shutdown happened. I was by myself in my apartment. You guys know I still didn't have a car, right? I'm still coming off of that 2018 being homeless, still trying to get myself together, still pulling myself up by the bootstraps, as they say. So I'm over there by myself. But you know me. You know, I'm in my bag. I'm like, well, I can walk to the store. It's a store here. It's a Waffle House here. It's a this and a that. And then once the shutdown happened, I'm like, oh, I might be in trouble. And then you showed up. And I was completely taken aback. I was completely in tears because we were literally pretty much done with each other. And you guys were, opened yourself up to me. And I'm so grateful because I would not have been able to, literally survive 90 days that we were locked down over there by myself with no way to get to anything. Like, I don't know how I would have survived that. So I'm truly grateful for that moment, for the thought, for even thinking of me to bring me in. So.
Now, by that time, we were already family. And then another thing, too, the kids were smitten. The kids were smitten. And they're like, they affectionately call her Sims.
My babies.
And so they're like, where's Sims? What is she going to do?
Yeah.
And, I got my behind on my shoulder. It
was rough.
And M like, you better go get her. And so, rough. A peace offering, I come with my son. So, he's... And they're like, all right, okay, come on over here.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, it's just been, like, all right, we going to rock out.
Yeah.
But that, in the pandemic, a lot of things changed at that point. Of course, I'm talking about with you.
Yeah.
And this is about you, about Ink Pen Diva, about us. Because at that point, I believe I saw you start to hone in on your skill set, more. I think that. And it was because I know the second book, we was coming out. I was doing my second book immediately. Like, we got to figure out something. And that's when a formula was developed. Yeah. I knew what to do. You were able to teach me. All right, this is what you need to do. But I think, no, seriously, because I get a chance to get a front row seat that people don't see. Like now, your coaching style is completely different. And I think that the pandemic did that. So what was the shift in you in that space?
I think Jay, that was the beginning of me starting to embody who Ink Pen Diva really was, who I really was, right? And that was me walking into and accepting the fact that, you are something powerful and amazing. But, life causes you to separate from that, and you don't think that, you're who in your mind that you really are. And so the pandemic started that because people were at home. home.
Yeah.
So I started to get an influx of clients who was like, you know what, now's the time for me to really write my book. And I had to change. I couldn't be stuck in the space that I was. That old style that I had, that old my way or the highway sort of thinking that I had when it came to, helping people tell their stories, that had to change. I had to take a step back, because you're the author of your story. So, I had to take a step back and truly embrace what it meant to be a coach, and really understanding that it wasn't about me in that process, that it was really about helping my clients. And so that was that shift for me. And having that support system meant everything for me to be able to do that. So that's what happened. And, from there, those clients have continued to come in, and my program continues to grow to what it is today.
Yeah, I just saw it blossom, in 2020, just start the shift. I always say that boat start turning, because boats take longer to turn than convertibles. So, you turned in that boat, I started seeing it. And then coming into 2021, you're like, hey, I'm that deal now. Yesterday's price is not today's price
at all.
And you so focused, But this is where it really hit for me, and I think that everybody's gonna want to hear about this coming into it. Is that I started, I started going into getting certifications, focusing on coaching. Of course, I wasn't with the camera as much, nowhere near, because of what happened with COVID, and my clientele was 100% commercial. And if now, a lot of people start just getting new photos now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 2022, 2023. So since 2019, beginning of 2020, people hadn't been taking images and doing those types of things in a government space, corporate space like I was working in. And so I started blossoming in my coaching space as well. And it took me to the West Coast. Soon as the world opened back up, I'm back and forth to the West Coast, going back and forth. So I come with this idea, I'm moving to Vegas. I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm moving to Vegas. And you well, I go. So you didn't seem nervous, but were you nervous? What was your thoughts when it's okay, I'm taking J. Halim LLC to Vegas?
First of all, I'm like, who walks in the door and says they moving to the other side of the country? So I'm like, huh? Vegas? We weren't even talking about no Vegas. Where did this come from? So it was, I was like, I wasn't nervous. You know what I mean? I wasn't nervous. I'm like, okay. And you were like, okay, you coming? I was like, yeah. Yeah. And so, once we came up with a plan of what we were going to do when we got out here, I envisioned myself moving out of Colombia, but never to the West Coast, So I wasn't, so I guess there was a level of uncertainty there, but I wasn't afraid. I was like, okay, because I knew that I wasn't going alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I knew that, we would be there to support each other, because it would be a shift for all of us. But it was just, really seeing myself and how I fit. And, we had an opportunity to travel to the city so I could really see, being here for the first time and seeing what the city had to offer. Because all I knew about Vegas was what I saw in the movies. Yeah. But, being here and really seeing what the city had to offer for me, and I could see myself living here. And then I'm like, grew more and more comfortable with the idea. And I'm like, all right, your girl is moving to Vegas. Come on, do I throw up the W? Do I go West Side? Okay. So, but yeah, I'm grateful, grateful.
Something that people didn't know, and they're going to have to, they can listen to this, and then also if they didn't read the book, they don't know, is that, we didn't just say, all right, up front, we just going to go and leave and go to Vegas. We started setting things up and putting things in place. And one thing for me, and I always appreciate it, and I always wanted to do, and I appreciate your acknowledgement of doing this, that I never try to take your business from you.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were working with me, but at the same time, I always wanted you to still be you.
That's right. Yeah.
And so even with the same situation, I know what your comfort level was in Colombia, so I wanted you to be comfortable. So I started doing research about what would be the best situation to make sure, because I knew that J. Halim LLC wasn't going to just be rocking like that immediately.
Yeah.
And so I gave you an idea about bartending, while you figure it out, and you were open to it, made sure that you got everything that you needed to get to do that. But now, for people who didn't know, you test the waters with that. But now you actually own your own mobile bartending business.
Whoop, whoop.
So you're a two-time entrepreneur. And this is a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And you booked and busy.
Come on. Come on. Hashtag booked and busy. I'm going to do my thing. Okay. Hashtag booked and busy. Yeah. It, again, you know, same Vegas conversation. Like, oh, okay. So I'm bartended. Huh? How do you do that? So, you know, we started doing some research and looking at classes, and I got into it, and I was like, I love this. I love this. Like it was my, you know, I love people, and I love being in people. I'm very extroverted. Like they say, I'm out here, okay, but not in a way. I'm not for the streets. But you know, so it was a great experience. Being in Vegas, it's a wonderful and amazing market for it. So I'm grateful that even you saw that. But we are doing well. Your girl is booked and busy. Come on, we're all the way into the next year with events. Like, y'all not ready, okay? Y'all not ready. But yeah, so we're doing well. We're doing well, making some great connections and meeting some great people along the way.
Yeah, the funny thing for me was just that, you know, people don't understand how when you're an entrepreneur, you still have to cover yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't never want to put nobody in no bad space. You know what I mean? So I'm like, look, how do I make sure that she's going to be good regardless of what? You know what I'm saying? In the process. But I still want to level up.
Yeah.
We still want to level up because it's like, hey, you're a woman of a certain age, and that's not anybody's business till you go ahead and holler at her. But, you know, you're not trying to be the little chick with the, you know, out here bartending stuff like that. Hey, I'm going to get this skill set.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to do it from a different space.
That's
so now you're able to give other people opportunity to work. And, you know, now, again, booked and busy. You're locked in, coming up on your 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel looking back now at, was it all worth it?
I just took this really big, deep breath because it definitely was worth it. And I would do it all over again. This has been an incredible move. This has been an incredible journey in my life. I have grown so much as a person, as a woman. There are certain things about me that I am embracing, especially when it comes to femininity. Like, that's a big thing for me. You know, just embodying what it means to be a woman. And I just keep going back to Ink Pen Diva because that's who I am. And it's taken me, you know, this long to realize that that's exactly who I am. And, you know, walking in it now feels so good. And I am excited about my now, but I'm even more excited about my next and the vision that I have for my future. So I'm just truly grateful, and it definitely 1,000 times over was worth it.
Let me tell you something. So we got to close this with this because, again, more secrets, right?
Yeah.
S.T.A.R.V.E. talk. Stand tall and reclaim victory every day. What you do not know is that we were sitting around brainstorming about this. So she was totally 1,000,000% a part of coming up with this this acronym. And now you get the chance to say what it means to you. What does stand tall and reclaim victory mean to you?
Jay, it means resilience. When I think of the word that stands out the most to me in the acronym is reclaim. That means that I'm going back and getting something that I already had before. And so in this instance, it's my resilient spirit, but it's the thing that makes me victorious every single day, right? Resilience is, first I saw it as a bad thing because, you know, you got to go through some stuff to be resilient, okay? But then I'm like, nah, resilient just means you have an ability to bounce back. It means that you have the ability to adapt. So that's what S.T.A.R.V.E. means to me.
Yo, listen, I couldn't have said it better myself, but again, this is from one of the creators of it. And I pray that you guys get a lot from this interview. It's kind of awkward for us because, you know, she's behind the scenes doing stuff and all this other stuff. So coming in, but I wanted to make this special, especially coming into the 1 year anniversary of Ink Pen Diva, the truth behind my pen. More than 1,000 copies sold individually, you know, independently. Hey, this is what's happening. This is what she's doing. It's a whole different world, a whole different thing. You need to book her. Tell them how to do it. Tell them how to find you.
So definitely head on over to www.inkpendiva.com. If you're interested in booking me, it's Tamika at inkpendiva.com.
Yes, holla at her. Make sure you book her. Have her come speak. Do a book signing. Whatever needs to be done, she's ready and willing and able. And she's already doing it. So she has to turn down some stuff because she's booked and busy. I'm trying to tell y'all. But I'm just grateful to see it and have a front row
Thank
seat
you.
to it. And
Thank
as I told you before, you know what I mean, you remind me that I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of the bet on you and us betting on each other.
That's right.
And continuously coming into, profit from that and prosperity from it.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to keep doing it. So y'all keep watching. But find you somebody that you can build with, man, and grow with, because it's still something in that, still some special things that can happen. We can't do it all alone.
No.
Again, shout out to M because she saw it.
Yeah.
She said, hey,
Thanks.
it's her. It's her. You know what I mean? And she hasn't been wrong. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. This has been so good. This has been so good. So thank you so much again, for everything.
It ain't no thing but a chicken wang. Look.
Oh, wow. That's
Old school, right? We just
Yeah.
showing the age, right? I am Jay Halim on all my social medias. Go find her, Ink Pen Diva.
yeah.
At Ink Pen Diva, at Tamika L. Sims.
Yes.
Please say the L. This is S.T.A.R.V.E Talk. We'll see y'all next time and in the next video.
I'm in the studio with Jay Halim.
I'm in the studio with Jay Halim.
I am in the studio with Jay Halim.
I am in the studio with Jay Halim.
I'm in the studio with Jay Halim.
You are now